A march with a message. People who say they are tired of the violence in Grand Rapids took to the streets on the southeast side today. In spite of all the rain, they had a clear message. 24-hour News 8's Evan Dean was there and talked with one woman who hopes that her story and her pain will inspire others and really she hopes it will put a stop to some of this violence we've been seeing.
Yeah, and Leon, it's not just her. Everybody, just about everybody at today's march has been affected by gun violence in some way. Some have lost family members, others close friends. And what they all want is for the violence to stop. As Jerlene Riley sits next to the picture of her late son, memories of his death are still vivid in her mind.
My neighbor knocked on the door and shot him down in my living room.
It was 1994, a snowy February night when Jeffrey was murdered. And even today, more than 20 years later, the pain still lingers.
It still is heartbreaking. And that's why I'm trying to say, don't do this. Because every time I try to think about him, I have to remember that it's hundreds more laying beside him in the graveyard.
That's why she and dozens of others took to the streets with signs, T-shirts, and most of all, their voices. All to try to spread peace on the city's southeast side.
I'm trying to say to these young kids that if you can just think before you act and put down the guns and let's start, talking to each other and trying to communicate and trying to be brothers and sisters again, that this does not have to happen.
And the rally comes at a time when it's desperately needed. Since late July, there have been nearly a dozen shootings in Grand Rapids, including a stretch of 4 shootings in less than a week on the southeast side. Today, pictures of the lives lost to street violence line the streets with moments of prayer,
and the attitude that this continues is,
but also the realization that today's march isn't enough to end the violence.
What more needs to be done is education and healing. We're not going to stop here. We're not going to just stop marching. We're not going to stop meeting. We're not going to stop coming up with every avenue to help our community heal and to move forward.
Now, the Grand Rapids Police Department provided a police escort for those marching today. Organizers of the event say it's important that they work with police to try to stop this violence. There's also a town hall meeting scheduled for this Tuesday night coming up where people can speak up and let their voice be heard.